Shalom, giving honor and praise unto the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. This is Yeshua Yisrael. This is Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, part 2. Wanted to go over a couple of words in reference with the word male, man, human, and see what we can glean and understand. In Deuteronomy 16, verse 16, it says, 3 times in a year all your males shall appear before the Most High, your God. Now, in Deuteronomy 16, verse 16, in the Hebrew, we see this. And it says, Shalos pa'amim, bashana, yera eko zekuraka, et pene ya Eloheka. Now, the point to get to is this Hebrew word right here, zekuraka, Zayin, Kaf, Wow, Resh, Kaf. And the word Zekur means male, M-A-L-E. Zekur Ka means your male. All right? The Ka at the end represents your whatever. The Shalom Ka, your peace. Zekur Ka, your male. So let that be noted and understood. Now, taking it from there, let's go, if we will, brothers and sisters, into the book of Exodus. We are going to go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, so that way we can gain some understanding. Exodus 12, verse 5, in the English it says, an unblemished lamb or kid, a male, within its first year shall it be unto you. Now, in Exodus chapter 12, verse 5, in the Hebrew, we see the following. It says, Se tamim zakar, ben shana yiyeh lakim. Right? The key word in this case is the Hebrew word zakar. Now, se means sheep. Tamim, a perfect sheep male. A male that is a perfect sheep of the first year, yihye lakim. It shall be unto you. Now, zakar in this case means male. M-A-L-E. So let that be noted and understood. Let's now, brothers and sisters, go into the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, so we can gain some understanding. We are in the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, and it reads as follows. In the English, it says, so God created man in his image. In the image of God created he him, male and female, he created them. Now, in verse 27, in the Hebrew, we see the following. Vayibra Elohim et ha'adam b'tzalmo b'tzelem Elohim bara oto zakar unqueba bara otam. Now, this right here distinctly says Adam, which means the male, in this case the human. So let it be noted that Adam means human. All right. So this is how, and when you go to Genesis chapter 5, verse 2, and it says zakar unqueba, male and female, he called them Adam and named them Adam. Adam means human. So let that be noted and understood. Now, the root of Adam in that particular case is Adama, and Adama means ground, G-R-O-U-N-D, because man was taken from the ground. So in that case, we can call it, as some may say, Mother Earth. Okay, now, one of the other things to let it be noted and understood, if we go into the book of Exodus, we're going to go to the book of Exodus chapter 2. We're going to start in verse 1. So that way we can gain some understanding concerning this. Okay, in the English, in Exodus chapter 2, verse 1, it says, a man went out from the house of Levi, and he took a daughter of Levi. Now, in the Hebrew, it says this, Vayelek ish bebet lewi, vayekwak et bat lewi. Now, this right here, ish means man. It says what? Vayelek, and he went out, and he walked. Ish mebet lewi, a man from the house of Lewi. Now, when it says ish, that means man. Now, in the book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, it says in the English that the Lord is a man of war. So when it says that, it says in the Hebrew, ish melkama. Ish also means chief, because the Most High is not an ish like a son of man. So let that be noted and understood. So ish means male, as in a human male too, but ish also means chief. So let that be noted and understood. So now, let's go, if you will, to the book of Judges, chapter 18, verse 2. We're going to go in the scriptures, continuing on. Judges chapter 18. We're going to start in verse 2. In the English, here's what we read. And it says, the children of Dan sent 5 men of their families from among their leaders, men of valor from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to investigate it. They said to them, go, investigate the land. They arrived at Mount Ephraim to the house of Micah and spent the night there. Now, one of the things to let it be noted and understood is, if we can go now in Judges chapter 18, we're going to start now in verse 2. And it says, Vayishlaku b'nei Dan b'mishpekotam kamesha anashim mikzotam anashim b'nei kayil mezarah. Now the key word I wanted to point out is where it says b'nei kayil, but b'nei kayil means, in this particular case, it says men of valor. That is to say that they were a particular type of men. So let it be noted and understood. It says what? Bene, sons or son of, men of valor. So Ben in this case means man, but Ben also, that is, Ben also means son. So we see, but it's translated as man of valor. Kayil means valor. That's the same root word kayil that's used about the female, about a woman of valor when you go to Proverbs chapter 31 in the Hebrew. Okay, so let that be noted and understood. Let's go back, brothers and sisters, to the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 13. We are back in Exodus, chapter 2, verse 13. And for those who might have noticed, yes, I am using the Strong's, the Stone edition, not Strong's, the Stone edition Tanakh. Okay, now let's go as stated. Thank you for bearing with me. We are in Exodus chapter 2, verse 13. So that way we can gain some understanding concerning this matter. And it says, and he went out the next day, and behold, 2 Hebrew men were fighting. He said to the wicked one, why would you strike your fellow? Now in verse 13, we see the following in the Hebrew. Wayetze b'yom hasheni, and he went out the second day. Wahine, shenei anashim ibrim nitzim. Now what this is saying right here, it says what? Wahine, and behold, shenei anashim, 2 men, 2 people who were of the Enosh. Enosh also means human or male. All right, so when it says shenei anashim, 2 men, is the translation. But the root of anashim is the Hebrew word enosh. So that right there has to be, let it be noted and understood. So now, brothers and sisters, let's go and move on. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6, okay? So that way we can gain some understanding concerning this kind of matter with the definition of the word male and man in the scriptures. Jeremiah 30, verse 6, and it says the following in the English. Ask now and see if a male has ever given birth. Why then do I see every man put his hand upon his loins like a woman in childbirth, and all face turn pallid? Now, in the Hebrew, in verse 6, we see the following. All right, so that way we can gain some understanding concerning this matter. It says, Sha'alu na, ask, please, ask, I pray thee. Ur'u, and see, im yoled zakar, did a male give birth? Madua ra'iti kol gebel yadayo al kalatzayo. What this is saying is what? Kol, all, which, or any, geber. Now this is the key word we went over in part 1. The Hebrew word geber simply means, as some may try to state, oh, it means only soldier. But then we read right in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6, where this actual geber is spoken about as if a regular male. Wherefore do I see a man, where it says what? Yadayo, his hands, from the Hebrew word yad, but Yadayo is his hands, al kalatzayo, upon his loins. Kuyo leada, as one of a female who is giving birth. That's what this is talking about right here. So we see the word geber simply does not only mean soldier in that particular case. And we're going to show another particular case. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. We're going to go to Jeremiah 17 verse 5. Because we have to remember too, not being funny, Jeremiah spoke Hebrew. All right, so let's gain some understanding concerning this kind of matter. We are in Jeremiah 17 verse 5. The English says, "Thus saith the Most High, cursed the man that trust in man to make his flesh his arm, and who sought depart from the Most High." Now, in Jeremiah 17 verse 5, it says this in the Hebrew. Ko amar ya arur ha-geber asher yibtak be-adam, wasam basar Zoro'o umino hewahe yasur libo. Now, what this is talking about right here is, thus saith the Most High, cursed is Arur, from Irer, which means to curse. Arur hageber, cursed is the man. Now, is this saying cursed be the soldier or cursed be the warrior only? No, because geber from gabar, as stated, means to win or it means to be strong. But all of us are supposed to be strong. There's not supposed to be an ish kalash or a weak man. There's supposed to be an ish gibor or an ish geber, a strong man, which is equivalent to being a man, because a man who's not strong is not really considered a man. You understand? So when it gets right down to it, it says Arur ha-geber, cursed the man, Ashel yibtak, which batak, from that root which means to trust, but Adam, Ashel yibtak, who will trust in human, was Sam Basar Zoro'o, and make or put his trust upon flesh. That's what that particular part right there is saying. Now, let's go, brothers and sisters, if you will, to the book of Lamentations. We are in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 1, so that way we can gain some understanding concerning this type of matter. It says, chapter 3, verse 1 of Lamentations in the English, and we read the following. I am a man who has seen affliction by the rod of his anger. Now, in the Hebrew, we see this. It says what? Ani hageber ra'a ani b'shebet eb arato. This word right here, geber, we see yet once again. Ani, I or I am, hageber, I am the man, ra'a, who has seen. Ani, in this particular case, not ani meaning I or I am, but ani meaning affliction. You see the spelling, the ayin starts there, the aleph starts there. Now, getting back to the point, we see hageber, which means what? The man. It's not only saying that geber means soldier. Now, no disrespect intended, you read in Jeremiah chapter 31, where it says Giboreha, which speaks of her soldiers. You read about that in several cases where the word geber is in reference with soldiers. But what exactly then is a soldier? It is the men of the army. What is the army? The army is the host. When it says all hands on deck, that's talking about all the men putting their hands on deck. There is no slack hands. There is no kalashim in Israel. No weak ones in the house of Israel. That's what that right there is talking about. So getting back to the point of Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5, if we will, brothers and sisters, because there were some who were attempting to state that the word geber simply and only means soldier, and so therefore that would mean that a woman can sit there and wear what an ish would wear. And as we can see, such is not the case. From geber, ish, enosh, anashim, ben kayil, zakar, all of them in reference with the same kind of premise. A human in science that has the XY chromosome. Okay, now let's go back to Deuteronomy 22, verse 5 to conclude out. A man should not wear that which belongs to a woman, neither shall a woman put on a male's garment. Now, Deuteronomy 22, 5, once again, Lo yihye kili. Now, we went over in the Strongs in part 1 about how the word kili is translated one part vegetable or garment, and another part it says plus whatever. So Strong's Concordance leaves it very open in definition. Lo yihye kili geber. It shall not come to pass the vestment of a man, a male, a mighty one, on a woman. So if you're saying that this is not talking about a regular or any kind of male, That is saying then that a woman can sit, or a regular man or an ish can wear the garment of a woman. And as we pointed out, no, that cannot and is not the accurate translation. So with that, shalom.